Why would I watch that? I've seen it 1,000 times. It means nothing. It's easily ignored.
I'm super excited to introduce an absolute veteran in the legal industry. Richard, thank you so much for taking the time. And we're going to open the hood on some great stuff today.
Thank you so much. I'm going to have to climb a ladder in order to get to the pedestal that you just put me on.
So, Richard, I want to start with, kind of more of a zoomed out question for you. And when we talk about creating a highly differentiated brand in the legal vertical, a lot of lawyers think that this is like impossible. It's too competitive nowadays to do this. So my first question to you is, what are the 3 irrefutable laws of marketing or branding that we never, ever want to violate when a firm wants to take that next step and become the choice in their market?
Well, I'll give you the bullet phrases and then I'll explain each one. The first one, of course, is be unique. That's spelled U-N-I-Q-U-E. Be unique. Second, entertain. Smile and make people want to watch you. And 3 is focus your message on what's really the important aspect of your firm or personality. Those are the 3 items. So let's start with being unique. No one ever gets ahead by being just like everybody else. Safe choices in this business of brand management are taboo. Don't do it. Don't look like this. Don't look like this. Don't be a lawyer who is smarter than the person who they want to help. It's a barrier. It's a wall. Don't put a wall between you and the people you're asking to give help to. So be unique. Don't look like other lawyers in your field. Find a way to shine a different color. The second is entertain. Nobody wants to talk to somebody who looks like this and says all these things together. It's not very entertaining. And on top of that, okay, you just look like everybody else who's on television saying, call me, I'm the greatest there ever was. Why would I watch that? I've seen it 1,000 times. It means nothing. It's easily ignored. So you have to entertain. You have to do things people haven't seen before, okay? You have to give them a reason to watch your ad a second time. And that's one of the biggest mistakes that most marketers in our field make. They listen to their client, the lawyer, and they agree. Because to a lawyer, you have 12 or 6 or whatever your venue is, people who are forced to listen to you in a courtroom. They can't do that on TV. They could just turn you off. Okay? So it's really important that you make people smile, that you give them a reason to watch your ad, to put on imagery that they haven't seen before or that is dynamic enough to watch. You only have 30 seconds. Sometimes you can go to a minute, but make sure that whatever you do on that screen is interesting enough. Whatever sound you make on radio, it's unique enough. Whatever you put in your digital advertising is an image that they didn't realize they wanted to see. So entertain to get your message across. Now, here's the trick. The trick is to bury your message in the entertainment, okay? Not just to do Geico where you have crazy stuff going on and then at the end of it you say, I'll save you 15%. Okay, that's simple name recognition right there. But it doesn't import any aspect of the function they're serving. They don't talk about the claims. They don't talk about anything. So it's weak. It only wins because it's entertaining. And then finally, focus on your primary message. Simple. If you do car wrecks, we do car wrecks, a lot of them. If you do veterans affairs, we know the veterans people. Don't talk about all the other stuff. Focus your message on what it is that you want people to remember is your strength. So those are the three things. Now we'll get into some of the nuances.
So before we go into the nuances, I just want to give everyone context here. Okay. So the people that he has helped, okay, like guys like Glenn Lerner, guys like Morris Bart, okay. If you look at the people, first of all, these are some of the biggest law firms in the entire United States that are plaintiff facing. Okay. That's the first point. The second point is there is so much experience. When we were researching Richard, there's so much experience behind every word he's saying. Just look at Morris Bart's commercials. Look at Glenn Lerner's commercials. You will immediately see these guys stick out completely from the typical legal commercial. So I just want to like build context to what Richard's saying right now, because like he is practicing what he preaches. Back to you, Richard. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. Here's one of the big problems that we often run into when we take on a new firm. Usually we take on smaller firms and make them giant firms. And one of the problems we have with them is getting them to understand that the public doesn't accept what they say as truth when they hear it. An ad has no credibility to start with simply because of what it is. The person presenting the information has a financial interest in the outcome of your acceptance of that information. So because of that alone, there's a big credibility gap. I mean, how many times have you heard the word, I have the best price on this car, or I give the most selection of this vehicle, or the best price on this air conditioning unit. So the mere fact that it's an advertisement that you're promoting, whether it's on radio, and I try not to limit this conversation to one media, it's an ad. It has a natural incredibility. It has a natural self-serving function. So one message doesn't do it. You have to give the public enough time to absorb the different aspects of your message and brand to begin to adopt it. One of the things I talk to new clients about often is, what kind of bath soap do you use? Do you use Dial, do you use Ivory? What do you use? And they'll tell me, and I say, what is it going to take to get you to go to the grocery store, and when you choose the bar soap, to choose a different one? What's it going to take? It's going to take a combination of experiences. It's going to take, one, a lot of knowledge of the advantage of the other product, two, a less than positive experience with the product you have, maybe even a recommendation from someone else. And all of those factors will come into play at one time while you're standing there. Maybe even price might be a consideration, but it's never going to be one magic bullet. Stop looking for the magic bullet. It doesn't exist. Okay? It is a combination of time, experience, presentations, and recommendations all coming together. We haven't done a lot of research on these issues. Obviously, we've been doing this for 35 or 40 years, so we must know something about why people make these decisions. And what we find is that we may not even be the first choice. We may be second or third in the call list of people looking around. But somewhere in that call, we have touched the one problem they have. So that means there's no solution that's the same for every single caller or questionnaire or inquirer. So you got to keep that in mind, and you have to add to that, it's going to take a lot of time. In our PI practice side, we talk about 18 months before you can get real traction. For people to get enough experience of you, to ask enough questions in their peer group or of their family, and seeing enough different aspects of your brand to form an opinion that's positive. Remember, somebody's gone before you and been doing some of these things for years. So can you overcome somebody who's been in the market 30 years and spent millions of dollars with your small budget? Of course you can. Sure you can, if you are patient, understand your goal, have the resources to go to the end of the traction gathering period, and have enough of a message that gets people's attention. So keep your expectations high, but add patience to that process.
I love that. I love that. Yeah. So keeping your expectations high and adding patience rather than lowering your expectations, giving up and saying, I can't compete with the big guns, right? So the next question I have for you, Richard, is when you look at the actual science of creating a heavy hitter law firm, let's say a lot of our listeners are not running huge practices. Let's think about how would you actually go into a firm? Is there like a step-by-step process that you would follow with your 40 years experience to go in and like step one, I would go in and audit and fix this. Step two, I'd go and audit and fix that. Step three, I'd go in and audit and fix this to create a heavy hitter firm. What's that process?
Oh, it's an organic process, but it does have fences and rules.
Yep.
Okay? You can't take a firm. In fact, I had this conversation last night at 9 o'clock with one of our clients who was asking. The first thing you want to fix, the very first thing you want to fix is the intake process. That's the first biggest mistake. Usually firms have firms that have never reached out to the public before have an administrative attitude to the intake process. Who do you want to talk to? What's it about? Let me see if I can get someone to talk to you, okay? They are used to handling and steering clients with some sort of pre-connectivity to the firm, and they're moving them administratively. And that attitude is flat and negative to the caller who is trying to vent their problem. I'm hurt, I need help, what am I gonna do? I'm sorry, sir, what is your name? Where are you from? How tall are you? How much do you weigh? When did you last call someone about this problem? Do you have a police report, a medical report, and a friend who's ever called us before so we can do a conflict check? I need help. The next thing that person will hear is, because they'll hang up and call someone else. Or they'll be nice and not be rude and tell you, oh, wait a minute, my coffee's boiling. I'll get right back to you. And of course, you never hear from them again. So the intake process is the first fix. Hi, thank you for calling. We're so glad you chose us. Remember, there's 2,000 firms on the internet and 500 or 600 on TV, and they chose you. Say thank you. Be nice. Reward them. We want to help you. Okay. And then shorten the intake process. Make it concise. Let the lawyer do all the important questions if you can get someone to agree to be a client of the firm. There's plenty of time to get the police report and the liabilities and all that other stuff down the road by someone who's skilled in getting that, not the person at the front desk says, I'm sorry, he doesn't come in until Tuesday. Maybe someone else can help you, okay? So fix the intake process first. Fix that first. Put someone on the phone that answers your calls with a big smile, okay? That's the first thing.
Okay.
The next thing to do is analyze yourself. Are you someone who has a lot of turnover? Okay? If you have people that stay 2 years or 8 months or 3 years and then they leave, you need to organize your firm so that the process of managing the intake is done in parts. One person does this part, one person does medical records, one person does police reports, one person does medical tracking, one person does contract review, and so forth down the line. So that if any one of those people in the cafeteria leaves before you want them to, okay, they're not taking the whole shooting match with them. Okay? They're only taking a little part, and that's easily recovered by the people on either side of that function. Okay? So we would sit and ask you that. But if you're a person who has people who have been in your firm 20, 15, 20, 30 years, and you're giving them good rewards along the way, then we would reorganize your firm into a team. okay?
Mm.
With one lawyer who handles the team and the support people reporting to that one lawyer, because he's not going anywhere and the team isn't going anywhere. And so you can be more efficient to have that client call that one person for their need. So we would sit down and determine your personality and how you manage the people you have managed so far, whether it's one person or 50 people.
Mhm.
We would reorganize your firm to manage itself without having to be micromanaged on each and every level. And then there's all sorts of ways to deal with that. Certain meetings we set in, training periods for staff, how we introduce new people into your firm and all that. And you begin to grow organically. Going out and buying a bus that holds 98 people when you only have 3 clients doesn't make any sense.
Mhm.
Okay. As you add people, you add to the structure of the firm. Okay. And it grows organically until you begin to have more important problems than reviewing a brief. Okay. When that begins to happen, then you begin to develop a hierarchy within your legal staff. It's organic. This guy's really good. You know, he's a great trial lawyer. Let's move all the trial stuff to his direction. Okay. This guy's really good with contract disputes and in mediation. And so let's move that away from me and into him and get reports. And we set all that up. That's how you grow a firm so that it is a substantial foundation that does not have turmoil every 6 months.
When we look at 2021 and the aftermath of COVID-19, and we kind of look at that alongside the permanent changes in human behavior in terms of how they seek or find solutions to their problems, i.e. a law firm, what do you see in 2021 are some of the most important pivots that law firm owners need to be making?
Well, you ask a very complex question, and you'll find out whether or not I'm skilled or not if I can answer it simply. Connectivity is the word you are looking for.
Mm.
Ease of connectivity.
Hmm.
Our research indicates that 80% of a choice that is made on the internet for legal services is driven by a combination of other media, with television being the most powerful. Now, I'll try to make this as concise as possible, but the fact of the matter is there are hundreds now of vendors of outlets. There's OTT, there's television, there's cable, there's Facebook, TikTok, and you know, you could just go endlessly now. Media is now fractionalized. But what you need to do is provide ease of connectivity. Whatever media you can afford, or whatever media you chose to try to dominate, choose to make sure you are easily connected to. Okay? We pioneered something about a month ago, which you'll start seeing all over television. We were the first to put a QR code on a TV ad. Imagine that. Why did we do that? Because the QR code allows people to go directly to the website without going through the gauntlet of all the other media that they're assaulted with when they go on TV or when they go on the internet. The internet is not designed to be dominated. It's designed to be undominated. I just invented that word, by the way. So Facebook, Google, all of them make money on not allowing anyone to dominate their media.
Wow, what an insight.
Okay, think about that. Okay, they got to change the algorithm every 5 minutes to keep somebody from tricking in, figuring it out. Because if one person could dominate, no one else would use it.
Wow.
Okay, the same thing with all media. Okay? TV has 10 ads in a commercial break, not just one. Okay? They can't allow one person, one firm, one category to be dominant, or they lose 90% of their income stream, and the tail begins to wag the dog. It says, well, look, I'm the only one doing lawyer advertising. This is what I'll pay because I've got an exclusive.
Wow.
Okay. So connectivity is important. The more ways people can touch you and get to you, that's what you put in your messages, because you're never going to dominate a medium.